2011. All right. We're on with Jason Seaton today. You from Sevierville? Is that how you say that, Jason?
Sevierville.
Sevierville. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to get
We
up there over there one day and then I'll know how to say it.
yeah,
Yeah.
we get a lot of different pronunciations. Sevierville, Sevierville,
It looks like
Sever,
favorite.
just a little bit of everything. So
Jason's your C5 quad and more importantly, your last year's Safari Club Pathfinder Award winner, which is it's a big honor in the able outdoors community. So congratulations on that, buddy.
thank you thank you. Really didn't know a whole lot about Safari Club International. I've seen the advertisements while watching hunting shows, but here in East Tennessee, we don't have any local chapters or anything like that. So I was just unfamiliar with it, and then just started doing some research about it and came across the application part, Pathfinder Award, and I was like, well, why not? So
Well, not too many people know about it. This is kind of one of the we like to talk about it and promote it now. It's going to be up to you now to do the same thing every year. You're going to have to kind of look out for people who might be eligible and just get the word out because the more applicants they get, the better it is for the just the process and the. I mean, it's kind of an obscure community we're in, this able outdoors community. So it the more promoting we can do from within, the better.
yeah, of course.
So what was that journey like? About take me through the application process and getting the award and how
Well,
did it go?
I had to just sit down and to find some recommendations from people, and probably the hardest part was trying to get the word count. You had a certain criteria, so many pictures, so many words, and trying to tell my story. I like to talk and to tell my
Yeah,
story, and trying to get everything under their criteria. It was kind of hard, but I I know there's a lot of people out there that hunts and do other things, and I was just like, well, I'll share my story and see what happens. And I was actually on a hunting trip going to Illinois, and I got a text from a couple saying they were in town. Hey, can we meet up? And I was like, well, I'm on the road right now. He said, well, congratulations. I was like, what? He said, yeah. He said, you have been chosen as the Pathfinder Award winner out of, I think, 17 other applicants. I was like, wow, thank you. Thank you,
that's
Jesus.
awesome. Yeah.
That's a big honor. Uh, First time applying for it and receiving it.
What kind of what kind of things went on your application? What tell me some of your resume points that you put on there. What have you been doing? What have you been doing that got their attention?
Well, they ask you about your hunting experience or life after your accident. And my accident was February 6th, 1996. I had just returned home. I was on a 6 months peacekeeping mission trip with the United States Army out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky. So we went to Egypt. We came home for 2 weeks, and we had a big snowstorm. And a friend of mine wanted to go inner tubing at a golf course next door, which is the Dollywood,
Sounds
the
reasonable.
Gatlinburg Country Club. So uh, I'm kind of a thrill seeker. So there was a big hill on the back side of the clubhouse, straight up and down. He went down first and went over the golf cart trail at the bottom of the hill. When he did, he was thrown, slid on his butt a little bit, and he came up. Well, this guy was about 40 pounds heavier than me. I was 6 feet, 174 pounds at the time. So when I hit that golf cart trail, my feet went up in the air and my head rotated and I landed and shattered the fifth cervical vertebrae in my neck. So from there, I spent 13 days University of Tennessee Hospital,
Yeah.
and then being in the military, I had to go to Augusta, Georgia for my rehab, and that wasn't fun. The military, they picked me up in Knoxville. They told me I had to go to Illinois to spend the night in order to go to Augusta the next morning. On the flight, we stopped in Kentucky, Ohio, Nebraska, Wisconsin. About 8 hours later, we landed in Illinois, and the whole time nobody rotated me.
I was about to say, what did that do to your skin?
Yeah. Arrived in Augusta the next morning, they rotated me over and they said, "You have a pressure sore." First thing. So instead of a 2 months stay in Augusta for rehab, I was there for 7 months. About the first 5 months was trying to get the sore to heal.
Yeah.
Didn't, so they ended up doing flap surgery.
Yep.
And I went from 174 pounds to 124 pounds, just laying in bed, no therapy. And it was pretty bad.
It's tough to survive that. You know that to just be in bed every day, stuck there, no internet.
Makes you think a lot about things. My family's 4.5 hours away. They would come down every weekend to see me, but
yeah,
being alone there, it's a lot of time to think about things. You know, what am I going to do with my life? Being 21, I had a whole life ahead of me. My idea was to go to the military for 2 years and 16 weeks, and then to go back to the University of Tennessee to play football. So originally, I went there to play football as a walk-on wide receiver, but unfortunately, grades got the best of me. You know, the college life of sleeping in, and I don't have to go to class today. I'm an athlete. And, so I got kicked out of school.
I was about to say, how'd that work out?
It was hard. That was a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
But my application, I talked about what I went through with therapy, and I came home September of 96, and of course, you know, archery season in Tennessee opens up last weekend of September, and then you run into muzzleloader. It's like, man, I got to get back out in the woods. And
how did you do it? How did you get back out, coming back home as a C5? You're facing a lot of challenges there to get back out and hunt.
Well, at that time, I had both movements of my arms, biceps and deltoids. I could raise my arms up in the air. I couldn't move my fingers or anything, but I was unfamiliar with devices to hunt with at that time, and we strapped my 30-06 or muzzleloader to a cane or walking stick, strapped it down. My dad would put the stock up to my shoulder. I looked through the scope and up, down, left, right. You know, he was trying to move the gun around. And I had a little riding device on my finger, and I put it in the trigger mechanism around the trigger to try to pull it. And it's like, it got me out into the woods or whatnot, but it was a struggle. Then,
hey, you did the same thing I did. I started out with a riding device, trying to pull the trigger with that. It was good just to get out with it.
Yeah, you don't want to be confined. I mean, coming home, you want to get back to living and trying to figure out how to do things, and that was part of it. It's a learning experience. And then about a year later, I found a device. I don't remember the name of it. It's basically 2 bars mounted on the side of my chair.
Yeah.
And, you strap a gun on it, and it worked pretty good. I killed a few with that, but after that was I think it was an SR-77.
I was just about to say, I remember one called SR-77, but I don't know. I never knew anyone who actually had it.
Well, I actually received that through David Sullivan, Buckmasters.
Okay.
And that was probably 1998, 99, whenever it came out.
Yep.
I won that through them, and that worked really good for a long time. I just had to get the guns modified with the stock, chop it off in the back, and get the triggers drilled to put a wire through it in order to pull the trigger. But I was pretty good. Some 200-yard shots on groundhogs and coyotes and stuff like that. It worked good. I kind of, over the years, just found some different things. My go-to place right now is Be Adaptive online. And I try to print everything off, but here's my setup right now. Let me see.
You got that high quad 1000. Is that the one you use?
Well, this was actually, I think, the lower quad, and I had a friend to modify it. But you got a seat pan, you got a T-bar, and it's got the trigger mechanism, the straw, and then you got the post that holds a shotgun or rifle or a crossbow. And I love it. Everything on it's kind of adjustable, elevation or frontward to backward, and it works really good.
What was it like when your first? I suppose your first animal post injury was a deer, right? Is that the?
Yes, it was I think it was a button buck. I had a 308, and it was kind of bittersweet. My dad was sitting with me that morning, and these young deer came out. I don't know if I knew they were button bucks at the time. He's like, shoot it. I was like, no, it's small. Come on. I'm one that, I like antlers or mature deer and stuff like that. But
yeah.
He was wanting me to get something, and I was hesitant. And so we kind of got an argument a little bit about it, and he went back to the truck. I kind of sat by myself, and it came out. I was like torn. Do I shoot it or do I not? And then so I did, and he came up, high five and everything, and it felt good just knowing I was able to hunt again.
Yeah.
But
that's a good eating deer too. Nobody ever talks about that part of it.
Yeah. Easy to drag out and everything else, ain't it?
Yeah, your dad could probably pick it up in 2 hands and carry it out.
Yeah.
So, what do you like to hunt now, buddy? What do you do every year? What's your seasons look like?
Right now, I'm in the turkey season's opened up here at home. Me and my son, he's on spring break. He's 16, so me and him went yesterday morning, and there's a gobbling first thing, but I think they're locked up with the hens right now. But turkey and whitetails, pretty much two of my go-to animals.
So I think we're gonna probably work together sometime and get you out on some other stuff. From now that I know more about you.
I did go to Gillette, Wyoming back in 2009, and there was a group.
Was that hell of a hunt?
No, this was
There's a different group there. I know. Yeah, there was. Do you remember the name of them?
Something with Bow Hunters of America.
Oh yeah, yep. It's like physically challenged bow hunters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went with them out there and got me an antelope on it. That was a beautiful experience, a wild experience to be out there, and just antelope running everywhere in the city, out in the country, and seen quite a few. But to be able to get one on my first antelope hunt, that was pretty.
Well, just the trip out there is pretty amazing. Just especially if you've never done something like that before. It's an undertaking to drive across to a different state, or can't just fall out in your truck and go.
No.
It takes a lot of prep. You got to take twice as much stuff as you usually do. Well, tell me about flying for the first time. I know it can seem pretty daunting. When you found out you were going to have to fly, what were you thinking about?
Yeah, I've never flown before. Being paralyzed for 26 years, a lot of my hunting trips with, my mom or stepdad or my dad and a friend or wife and son, we would drive. Like right now, we usually go to Illinois every year. I've been to Nebraska. When we went to Gillette, I was living in Illinois at the time, so that's about a 17-hour drive. But flying, I've heard a lot of horror stories about it, and being paralyzed, you had to be put on the aisle chair.
Right. What was that like? When you first saw it, what were you thinking?
Help me, Jesus. That was one of the things is I've read stories, I've done research, and I try to contact the airport to let them know
Yeah.
how it's coming and talk with the people there about ordering my tickets, told them my needs and can you help me to make sure the seats have armrests that would lower. And the good thing is Safari Club International, they covered everything. So I flew first class. That was amazing. I don't know if I could have done it in economy or any of the other seats, but
you could do it. It wouldn't be as easy, but you could do it.
Yeah, but it was scary just to know that I had to put my trust in people working at the airport, the employees of Delta. They came, had a couple of guys, or maybe 3 or 4, pick me up out of my chair, put me in that little aisle chair. They put me on the plane. They got me into the my seat, and
they 2-man lifted you right out of your chair,
yeah.
and hold. They have to kind of hold you there, right, while they strap you in like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah,
like 6 different straps. It seems like.
Yeah, what's I guess funny about it is I'm 6 feet, and it's like my knees are up in my chest almost, and kind of bow-legged, so they was sticking out. It's like, man, it's like a little bitty chair for somebody my size.
It's made for somebody 5'2". I can promise you that.
Yeah, it seems like it.
It's bad,
but it wasn't that bad. I mean, I was scared going in, worried about the wheelchair, being broken and torn up. But we got to Las Vegas, a little frustrated with them because the pilot said the wheelchair would be waiting at the gate when we got there. Of course, it wasn't. And frustrated with them, like, oh, can you not just go and get your chair instead of waiting right there outside of the plane? And my wife kind of lit into him, and like, are you kidding? He can barely sit on the chair, and the seat's hard and everything else.
Yeah.
I finally got in my wheelchair and got to the hotel in Vegas, checked in, and I went straight to bed. I was scared to death. I was like, pressure sores.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because about every 30, 45 minutes, I'd sit there, and I took a Roho cushion, 3-inch, had air in it, and whenever my body would let me know, I'd have my wife or son to recline the chair back, and I'd lay down or I'd sit up, and it done good. But I was worried to death that something happened, so I went to bed first thing when I got to Vegas, and thank God everything looked good. But,
what about your chair? Did you do anything to prep it before they took it?
Not really. We just I took a picture, the disengaged lever, and kind of let them know, like, okay, if you need to push it, just push this up and down. And I don't think when they got me out of the chair, went ahead and had my son to disengage it.
Yeah.
That way push it. But I just took pictures and wrote on the pictures, this, if you need to push it, if you need to drive it, hit this button right here and try to give them some help. That way they wouldn't be pushing it all the way through the airport.
Would
30
you
pound chair.
would you fly again? Would you go somewhere again?
I would, knowing what I know now. And speaking of flying, a part of the Pathfinder Award, you get to go on a hunting trip. And originally, with my award, it was out to British Columbia for an elk hunting trip. But unfortunately, this place, and I can't think of it or how to pronounce it, Prophet Muskawa or something like that.
Yeah.
It's got a bunch of different posts that you camp out or horseback ride on to get there, float planes. And I was like, I don't think I can be able to do that.
Float plane would be tough to get to travel in, I can tell you that.
So I guess I was going to have to hunt at the resort itself. But one of the gentlemen from Safari Club, he worked out arrangements for a axis deer hunt at the Lazy CK Ranch there in Texas here in May. So I'm in the process of ordering the tickets to fly again. This time, I think through American Airlines, and trying to get everything prepared. I know it's not going to be Delta. I'm going to be flying out of Knoxville, which is a lot smaller than Atlanta. So Lord willing, everything will go smoothly with that. But from what I know, from flying to Vegas, I know what to do. When you go to check in, to make sure they put a tag on your wheelchair.
Yeah.
Delivery.
Yeah.
So
you have to let me know when you show up here. Maybe we can hook up.
Yeah, sounds good, man.
For sure.
Kind of let me know Texas what to expect weather-wise and
hot
again. Hot or just hot?
It'll probably be just right in May. Probably be 80s. Be perfect. It doesn't get real hot here till July.
Yeah, well, I like hot. Us
you're gonna love it.
Us quads and pairs, we like that sunshine on our bones.
Yeah. I like it hot, but not too hot.
Yeah.
It's different here. It's different. It's a different when it's like mid 90s all day long. That's too hot. You got to be more careful then. But May is gonna be beautiful, buddy.
Yeah, I look forward to it. It's experience. Going to Vegas is a once in a lifetime experience. Something I never would have thought I would get to do, and I did through Safari Club International. And while we was there, we took a little trip, my wife and son, to the Grand Canyons, and that was just an amazing experience to see God's creation and how beautiful of a place that was. And
did you take a van trip? What kind of trip was it?
Yeah, we rented a van through Mobility Works out of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So I think it was like a 4-hour drive from there. So it was like an all-day thing. We got up.
Y'all just drove on y'all's own then? It wasn't part of like a tour company?
Yeah. Yeah, we just took the time and we went to the South Rim. And I don't know, probably there for just 30 minutes. So we kind of got a late start out of Vegas and got there, and there was snow on the ground, and looked around, took some pictures, and got back in the van, went back.
Took pictures like Clark Griswold, just say, checked it out, took a picture, got the heck out of there.
A little something like that. Yeah.
Well, I know we talked a little bit about your journey, but tell me about finding God in this whole process, and how did that play a part in you coming back post injury?
That's been everything for me. I mentioned I got kicked out of college for my grades, my priorities at the time. I kind of lived for the world, only thinking about myself and having fun, drinking and whatnot. And I kind of grew up in church around here. Went to church because I had to and thought that was the reason.
Yeah.
I'm in church, so I'm good to go. But my accident, I just felt like it was God's way of slowing me down to looking at the things I was taking for granted in life and the people. And once I came home in September of '96, I finally got back into church that new year, '97, and about a month into it, I was talking to a pastor um, about verses of drinking and whatnot, telling my friends. And he'd always ask me this question: if you die, or are you a Christian? And my answer was, yeah, I'm a Christian. I go to church. But that night he asked me, if you died today, would you go to heaven or hell? I said, I think I'd go to heaven. He said, no, do you believe it? And when he asked me like that, it bothered me. So I started thinking about all these things that I did in my life and that I shouldn't have. And right there on the phone, I asked Christ into my heart as my Lord and Savior. And I got involved with church, with youth Sunday school and vacation Bible school, and started reading the Bible. And it changed me a lot. And to read the Bible, you want to know what God's speaking about. And, I found that despite I've lost friends, I've lost some family members, my girlfriend left me, that God's love is unconditional. For me, no matter what shape I'm in, what I've done, He's always there for me. I found reading God's word that He will never leave me nor forsake me. Despite being paralyzed, being 21, reading God's word in Romans 8:28 says all things work together for good to those who love God, those who are for His purpose. And that's hard to accept, but Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean on it to your own understandings, in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. So, and a part of that is, I know you asked me about what's behind me. Well, part of that path was going back to college. So here I was, 7 years after my accident. I moved to University of Tennessee. I lived on my own. I had help to come in 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours at night to get me in and out of bed. And but I got a bachelor's degree in social work and a master's degree in rehabilitation counseling. And that's all through God. And the last verse that I use or tell people is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And God's been everything for me. It's rough. You know it. I know it. And everybody that's in a wheelchair, it's hard being in this wheelchair.
It's rough. You're right, but it's doable.
It's doable. If you have that mindset, if you just, live for a purpose. And my purpose right now is I try to help others. I go to a juvenile detention center here in town, sometimes monthly. It might be quarterly, just depending on the intake they have there, and to tell the kids about my stories, because, we all make mistakes. My mistakes at the University of Tennessee, it haunts me still today. Anytime I watch them play football, it's like, man, there was my childhood dream. I had a chance to live it, and I screwed up. And it used to wake me up crying at night because I was dreaming I was playing football. And I realized it was just a dream, and I'd start crying. I'd wake up. I was like, man, I can never go back and redo that. So when I go to speak to these kids at the detention center, just let them know that, you made mistakes that put you in here, but don't let those mistakes define who you are. When you get out of here, make better choices, find something you're good at, and to live doing it,
work your way out of it. You keep going.
One of my verses right now is 1 Corinthians 10:31 says, whether you eat or drink, whatsoever you do all for the glory of God. So, hunting to me is a way to glorify God, because that moment, being out in the woods, watching the sun come up in the mornings, and the animals start coming out, that's like, God's creation right there in front of you.
There's something special that happens when you're out there.
And that's my medicine. What keeps me going. Probably 3 months out of the year, I'm deer hunting turkey hunting, and the other 9 months I'm here at home. I'm either inside, stuck in the house, or cold weather. I'm by the heater, but I'm ready for hunting season to come out. But I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for God. Give me the strength to not give up, to try to be positive. I know it's each day, just be grateful for what I have, for what I can do.
Well, there's down days. You can't be positive all the time.
Man, I'm not. Just a month or so ago, I'm outside, I'm looking around, like, man, working on food plots or mowing the yard or trimming stuff is like, I just want to get outside and do something to be.
Yeah, you miss
things.
Funny the things you miss, like cleaning deer and stuff like that. Just the menial task, man. That'd be great to do. It'd be great to dig a ditch again.
It's funny because, with God, I got on Christian Mingle. I met my wife there. She lived in the county next to me, and we will be celebrating our 8-year anniversary here in June.
Awesome.
And so I have 2 daughters and a son, and my son is he kind of keeps me going.
You're plenty busy then.
I am, and it's fun. Talking about hunting now. My hunting right now kind of evolves around him.
Yeah.
Teaching him how to hunt and to what to do and what not to do, and to be with him when he shot his first whitetail deer, his first turkey, and just to share those moments with him. It makes everything worthwhile, just being able to get outdoors and to teach him and teach others. It's not so much about my son. I try to give back what equipment I don't use anymore. I know, the wheelchair that you posted and the gun mount that you had posted earlier was something I no longer use. That was an Extreme 8 wheelchair. It was a beast. It got me out in the woods, but it was trying to turn it. It's like driving a tank, I guess. And it's hard to get on something moving when you can't really turn it. And I got a Frontier V6, what I'm using right now to hunt outlaws. So I donated that chair, that gun mount, to other people because I want them to be able to get back out in the woods as well. It's something, just because we're injured, I just want others to experience the joy that I have when I get out.
Well, that's God's work, buddy. You're doing it, so keep doing it.
I try each day, some way, some shape, form, or fashion, just to let people know, don't give up, no matter how bad things are. It could be worse, and find something you enjoy and do it to glorify God. And out of it, you'll get a blessing for it, and just try to find something in life that you love to do and do it. Don't give up.
Man, I appreciate you coming on and telling us your story, buddy. This is part of your journey, and now it's part of mine too. And we're gonna have to mix up with each other in the field someday and see what we can do.
Anytime you come out to Tennessee and throw you on some turkeys, or may have to get you up to Illinois on some whitetail up there.
I've been thinking about starting a turkey slam someday pretty soon. So we may have to take you up on that offer and come out there and hunt some easterns.
Okay. Anytime, man.
We'll talk about it. But hey, let me know when you make your plans to come down here.
Well, it's should be the May 26th through the 29th. If everything goes through, nothing comes up, we'll be down that way. I think flying into Dallas Fort Worth. So I don't know if you anywhere's near then, but
I'm not. But I could travel a little bit. I'll try to figure it out. We'll see where you're going. Hey,
right.
thanks for coming on and talking about all those various topics, buddy.
Hey,
congratulations too.
Thank you. I appreciate this time to tell my story, and I know you posted it, but another way I tell my story is my website, allaboutmystory.com. So if you enjoy it, send me an email, share it. And another thing I like to do is play Call of Duty with my mouth. Alexa. But I play on a device called a quad stick. So if anybody plays video games,
Chris Webby, featuring Grizzly Adams.
Yeah, I'll post them that info because I have had a few people asking me about stuff like that. So I'll post that info up too. I want to get that word out. So we'll talk more about that one.
Okay.
I'll have people I'll have them contact you too about it.
Hey, yeah, send them.
All right, brother. We'll talk soon.
Take care, Dad. Thank you.